In this basic style class, we will work up towards Cobra pose and upward facing dog. And we'll also look at the differences between those two similar poses. You might want a blanket to sit on. We will do a few seated poses, and then a strap will also be used in the class. So once you have your props ready, find a comfortable seat. That could be cross-legged, or you could straighten your legs out in front of you. And if you have a blanket, it's helpful to sit up onto the blanket, so just your hips sitting up onto the blanket to give your hips some lift. That can make seated a little bit more comfortable. So once you're settled, sit up nice and tall, lift your heart. You can close your eyes if that feels natural to you, or just soften your gaze down to the mat. And then over the next few moments, slowly let your breath begin to deepen. Begin to settle in on a breath that does feel deeper than when you first sat down, but is still easeful. Take a moment to notice if you're holding any effort or tension in your body. And if you find any areas of tension, just allow that effort to just release and relax down into the support of the floor underneath you. And then continue to stretch up through the crown of your head to lengthen your spine and lift your heart. Feel free to keep your eyes closed. We're going to start with just some gentle movement through the arms. So relax your arms down by your sides. And then inhale, sweep your arms up to the sky. And exhale, release your arms back down to your sides. Do that a few more times, moving at your pace with your breath. And see if you can take your full inhale to reach your arms up, and your full exhale to lower your arms back down. So the movement is slow and controlled and linked to your breath. Let's do one more inhale. Stretch your arms up. Bring your palms to touch, and as you exhale, bring your hands to heart center. Let your thumbs rest on your sternum. Lift your heart up to meet your thumbs. And feel free now to set an intention for your practice. You can do that by asking yourself, what do I need from my yoga practice right now? And then honor your intention by bowing your head to your heart. Release your hands, lift your chin. Again, you can keep your eyes closed or gently open your eyes, and then inhale, sweep your arms up to the sky. And exhale, take a little gentle twist to your right, so let your right fingertips come to or towards the ground behind you. Your left hand can rest on your right thigh. Inhale, reach your arms back to center, and exhale, twist to your left. Inhale, reach your arms up, and exhale, fold forward. You can rest your hands, your forearms, or your forehead down onto the mat. Walk your hands back in and lift your chest up. If you're seated cross-legged, switch the cross of your legs, so bring your other leg in front. If your legs are straight, or if you now want to straighten your legs, feel free to stay with that straight leg position. Then inhale, sweep your arms up. And this time exhale, side bend over to the right. So lower your right hand to the mat, reach out through your left fingertips. If this feels good, stay right here. But know that you can also add some movement. Maybe roll your top shoulder forward or roll it back to open your chest towards the sky. You can stay in either of those positions, or if the movement feels better, continue to move front to back. Then inhale, come all the way back up to center, reach up, and exhale, side bend to your left. First, just stretch out through your right fingertips to feel that lengthening along the right side of your body. And if this feels good, feel free to stay right here, or roll your top shoulder forward, roll your top shoulder back. Again, feel free to stay in either of those positions or continue rolling front to back with movement. Inhale, come back up to center, reach up, and then exhale, take your arms back behind you and either place your hands on your waist or clasp your hands behind you. Lift your chest, roll your shoulders back. You can stay here with elbows bent, or if you have your hands clasped, you can straighten your arms. Then release your clasp. One more time, reach your arms up to the sky, and then exhale, fold forward. Again, rest your hands, your forearms, or your forehead onto the mat. Walk your hands in and lift your chest up. All right, let's come to a tabletop position. If you need padding underneath your knees, feel free to spread your blanket out and kneel down onto your blanket. Then bring your big toes to touch and walk your knees wide. Bring your hips back to your heels, and before you lower all the way down, first keep your chest lifted and your arms straight and look up. Then spread your fingers, press down and forward with your hands to anchor your hips. Keep your hips anchored, pull your belly in, and then crawl your hands forward. So you're in an extended child's pose as you lower your forehead and your nose to the ground. Or if you have a block handy, you can also place your forehead on a block. Walk both hands over to the right side until you feel a stretch along your left side. And walk your hands back through center and then over to the left. Walk your hands back to center. Keep your hips heavy and moving back towards your heels. Walk your fingertips, your hands away from you until your arms are straight, and then walk your hands wide until your pinky fingers come towards the outer edges of your mat. Then prop yourself up onto your fingertips, so you're making little tents with your hands. That will lift your wrists towards the sky. Then lift the whole underside of your arm all the way up into your armpits. Lift that up towards the sky. Keep that and lower your chest down towards the mat. So you're getting some opening across the front of your chest and some toning across the muscles in your upper back. One more breath. And then release your arms down. On your next inhale, rise up to a tabletop position. Let's set up this tabletop position. Line your middle finger up with your outer shoulder and bring some space between your fingers. Grip the ground with your fingertips. You've got a good, strong purchase of your hands on the ground. Then, on your inhale, drop your belly, lift your chin, look up, Exhale, round your back, release your head and neck down. Do that a couple more times, moving with your breath, moving through this cat-cow position. If this movement feels good, you can stay with this. If you'd like to add a different movement, feel free to do that instead. You could rock front to back or side to side or roll your hips in circles. Really, any movement is fine as long as it feels good in your body. If you were circling to one side, go ahead and start circling to the other. Just take a couple more breaths here with this movement. On your next inhale, again, find your tabletop position. Then, keeping your hands planted firmly on the mat, walk your knees back and lower your hips until there's a nice long line from your knees to your hips to your shoulders. So you're in a half plank position. Then tone your belly in so your core is strong and your hips are not sagging towards the ground. With your fingers spreading wide, grip the ground with your fingertips. Then press the ground away from you. Lift your chest, even look forward just a little bit. So we're not looking up towards the sky. Just take your gaze a little bit in front of your mat. Then slowly lower all the way down and rest on your stomach. Sphinx pose, prop yourself up onto your forearms. Ensure that your elbow is under your shoulder and your wrist is in front of your elbow. Again, spread your fingers wide. Make your legs very strong here. Press the tops of your feet down until you feel your thighs tone. Your kneecaps may even lift up away from the ground. Press your forearms firmly into the mat and pull back on them a little bit to roll your shoulders back and to pull your heart forward. It's a small action. You should feel maybe a little movement of your chest forward and a little tone in your upper back muscles. Keep your chest lifted, fold your right forearm in front of you for support, and bend your left knee. If this is enough, stay right here. Your other option is to reach back and grab your left foot and pull your left foot in closer. And then release and switch sides. Fold your left forearm in front of you and bend your right knee. Again, you can stay here or reach back and grab your right foot and pull it in closer. And release. Lower your forehead to the mat and reach your arms along your sides, palms face up. Again, make your legs very strong. Press the tops of your feet firmly into the mat. Feel your legs tone. Press your fingernails into the mat and then lift your shoulders, lift your head and chest up. Really squeeze your shoulders up towards the sky. And then exhale, release. Take a breath here to rest. For round 2, clasp your hands behind your back. And if this doesn't feel good, you do have your straps. If you'd rather reach over and grab your strap and hold your strap instead, that is fine. So with your hands clasped or holding onto your strap, make your legs strong. And then inhale, lift your head and chest up. Reach your hands back towards your heels. Really squeeze your shoulders towards each other. Press the tops of your feet down so your legs stay strong. Inhale, lift a little higher. And exhale, release and rest. Plant your hands firmly on the mat alongside your chest. Curl your toes under, tone your belly, lift your shoulders up away from the ground, and then press up tabletop. Again, set up your tabletop, your hands in tabletop really well. Bring some space between your fingers, grip the ground with your fingertips. We're gonna do a few more rounds of cat-cow, but focus on some actions in our chest, our belly, and our arms. So as you inhale, drop your belly, tip your tailbone towards the sky, even look forward. We're gonna pause here in cow pose. So as you continue to grip the ground with your hands, roll your shoulders back and pull your chest forward. Very similar to what you did in Sphinx pose a moment ago. It's a small movement, so don't expect anything big. Go ahead, then cat pose. Exhale, round your back, tone your belly in, press the ground away from you so your arms are straight and strong. Let's do that one more time. Inhale, drop your belly, lift your chin, even lift your gaze. Roll your shoulders back, pull your heart forward, your chest forward. Good, exhale, round your back, release your head and neck down, tone your belly, press the ground away from you, your upper back may even dome up a little bit. Good, then come back to a neutral spine, just a regular tabletop position. Walk your knees back behind your hips, just a couple inches. Curl your toes under, lift your hips up and back, downward facing dog. We'll be here about 3 breaths, so if you want to add some movement, pedal your feet or bend your knees, that's great. Then look forward towards your hands. Walk your feet forward to meet your hands, standing forward fold. Bend your knees if the backs of your legs are feeling tight. You can always rest your hands on your shins if your hands don't easily come down to the mat. Then inhale, lengthen your spine, come up halfway. Pause there. Bring your hands to your waist. Roll your shoulders towards the sky. Use your legs, so press into your feet to rise all the way to standing. Sweep your arms to the sky. And exhale, bring your hands to heart center. Let's go to the wall. So find some space at the wall and stretch your right arm out parallel to the mat and in line with your shoulder. Press your right palm firmly against the wall. Stand up tall, roll your shoulders back, and then turn away from the wall to any degree until you feel a stretch along your inner right shoulder. So it's up to you how far you turn, so you're in charge of how intense this stretch becomes. Turn back to the wall. Let's switch sides. Reach your left arm out to the left side. Stand up tall, roll your shoulders back, and then turn away from the wall. Know that the sides of our body often feel really different side to side in these poses, so feel free to turn more or less deeply side to side, depending on what that would feel better on that side. And turn back to the wall. Reach your right arm again out to the right side, but this time turn your right palm to the sky. Take the outer edge of your right hand firmly against the wall. Stand up tall, roll your shoulders back, and turn. Turn back to the wall. Second side, stretch your left arm out to the left side, turn your left palm to the sky. Press the outer edge of your left hand against the wall. Stand up tall, roll your shoulders back, and turn. And then turn back to the wall, release your arm down. Now grab your strap. Hold your strap with a wide grip. Step your feet either hip-width distance or even wider. You want a nice steady base underneath you. Then begin to move your arms front to back as you hold the strap. Again, it's up to you how far back you take your arms. and how far forward you take your arms. So basically, you decide how big this motion is, this movement is. You can make this less intense by sliding your hands wider. You can make it more intense by walking your hands closer together. But we do want to focus on keeping our arms more or less straight. So keep moving nice and slow, front to back. Good. The next time your arms come up overhead, pause there. Now let's add some side to side movement. So nice and slow, there's no rush. Let's begin to move side to side, beginning to lengthen along the sides of our body. Good. One more time, both sides. Great. You can set the strap to the side for now. We'll be using it again a little bit later. And then come back to the wall. All right. Stand close to the wall, but maybe about an arm's width away. So you're able to use the wall for balance, but you do have some space between you and the wall. Then gently bend your knees. Cross your right ankle over your left knee in a figure 4 position. And you may decide to stay right here, which is great. But you can also begin to walk your hands a little further down the wall as you sit deeper into your left leg. Then lift your right hip up so that your hips are more even with each other. Keep your right hip lifting and lower your right knee down towards the mat. That may even increase the sensation of stretch. Keep your chest lifting. One more breath. And come all the way back up and switch sides. Bring a little bend to your knees. Cross your left ankle over your right knee. Again, you can stay more upright or bend more deeply into your right knee and walk your hands further down the wall. Then lift your left hip higher to even out your hips. Lower your left knee down towards the mat, but keep your chest lifting. And then come all the way up to standing. While we're at the wall, stand close to the wall with the left side of your body so that you're maybe 6 inches away from the wall. Then reach your left arm straight up. Lean your left hip against the wall. We're going to let the wall support our left hip the whole time. Bring your right hand to your right hip. Reach up through your left fingertips and side bend away from the wall towards the center of your room. You can stay right here or grab your left wrist with your right hand to pull yourself more deeply into the stretch. Then roll your bottom shoulder, that's your right one, forward just a little bit so that your chest points more fully forward. Then lift your chest, stretch a little more deeply. Great, come all the way up, press off the wall, and turn around, we'll do the other side. So stand with your right side a little bit away from the wall, reach your right arm up. Lean your right hip against the wall. Reach up, let the wall support your hip the whole time, and peel your right hand off the wall and side bend away from the wall and towards the center of the room. Your left hand can remain at your left hip, or grab your right wrist and pull yourself more deeply into the stretch. Roll your left shoulder forward, that's the bottom one. Lift your chest, stretch a little more deeply. And then come all the way back up. Press off the wall. Great. Our next pose is tree pose. It's a standing balancing pose. So if you want to stay close to the wall so that you have something to hold on to, please do. All right, let's start with our feet hip width distance in Tadasana. Shift your weight over into your left leg. Squeeze your left leg muscles very strong. Bend your right knee. Open your right knee to the side. You have 3 options. Your toes can stay on the ground. You could bring your right foot to your inner left calf, or pick your right foot up and place it on your inner left thigh. Keep your left leg muscles squeezing very strongly. Root down into your left foot. Press your right foot firmly against your left leg, so you're squeezing in towards the midline of your pose. Your hands can remain at your sides. You can bring your hands to heart center, or you can reach your arms up to the sky. It can also be helpful to find a spot on the floor or the wall that's not moving to focus on. It's your focal point in Sanskrit. That's called a drishti. Great. Release your arms if they're lifted and lower your right leg down. Okay, let's switch sides. Shift your weight into your right foot. Squeeze your right leg muscles very strong. Even before you lift your left leg, commit to powerful right leg. Lift your kneecap to engage your thigh, the front of your leg. Then bend your left knee, open your left knee to the side. Your toes can stay on the ground. You could bring your left foot to your inner right calf, or pick up your left foot and place it on your inner right thigh. Again, squeeze your right leg muscles very strongly. Press your left foot against the strength of your right leg. So you're hugging in towards the midline of your pose. Lift your chest. Find your arm position. Find your drishti, your focal point. Great. Release your arms down. Release your leg down. Okay, turn back to face the wall. Again, we're going to use it for balance for a dancer's pose. We're going to do this 2 times. Now I'm going to give you a different option the second time around. So stand up tall, bring your left hand to the wall for balance. Shift your weight into your left leg and tone the muscles of your left leg very strongly, just like you did in tree pose. Then bend your right knee and grab your right foot. If you're having a hard time reaching your right foot, you can also lasso it with a strap. Then pull your heel towards your hip, bring your right knee in towards your left knee, and stand up tall. If you want to begin to challenge your balance, reach your left arm up alongside your ear. And then release. Let's switch sides. Take your right hand to the wall. Shift your weight into your right leg. Tone your right leg muscles very strong. Bend your left knee. Either grab your left foot with your hand or lasso it with a strap. Then pull your left heel towards your hip. Squeeze your left knee in towards your right knee. Lift your chest. You can keep your right hand on the wall or reach your right arm alongside your ear. Good, and then release. Like I said, we're going to do dancer's pose again. If that variation felt good, continue or repeat that variation. Or you can try this other variation. It just gives a little different sensation of stretch. In this second variation, we're going to step a little bit further away from the wall, lean forward a bit, and press our foot back into our hand. So I'll talk you through it. So stand a little bit further away from the wall than you did the first time, and lean forward so you can bring your left hand to the wall. Squeeze your left leg muscles very strong and bend your right knee. Reach back and grab your right foot. You can stay here or begin to kick your right foot away from you. That will help stretch your inner right shoulder as well as bring a different sensation of stretch through your right thigh. Squeeze your right knee in, don't let it splay wide. Lift your chest. You can keep your left hand on the wall or reach your left arm alongside your ear. Great, come all the way up and release. Let's do the second side. So step away from the wall if you're going to lean forward. Then lean forward, bring your right hand to the wall. Bend your left knee. Grab your left foot with your hand or your strap. Then you can stay here or begin to kick your left foot away from you. Squeeze your left knee in towards your right knee so that your left knee does not splay out really wide. Lift your chest, look forward. You can keep your right hand at the wall or reach your right arm alongside your ear. Great, come up and release. Awesome. Okay, come to the front of your mat. Oh, actually first, let's do this. Grab your strap. And I like to kind of fold up my strap so it's not, especially this is a really long strap, so it's not flopping around. And then hold the strap with both hands back behind you. Press into your feet. You can take your feet hip-width distance or wider so your base is stable. Then lift your chest, roll your shoulders back. And instead of reaching your hands straight down to the ground, Lift your hands up away from your hips a little bit as you straighten that. Feel how that helps you roll your shoulders back and lift your chest more. Tone your belly, press down into your legs. Good, release, you can shake it out. Let's do that one more time. You can repeat that with the strap, or you can clasp your hands, you can clasp your hands behind you. So your choice, again, press into your legs, lift your chest, roll your shoulders back, and maybe straighten your arms. Of course, you can always keep your elbows bent if that feels better. And then, again, lift your hands up away from your hips. So your hands aren't reaching straight down to the ground, but more out away from you at an angle. Press into your legs, tone your belly, lift your chest. All right, release your hands. Great. Now step to the front of your mat. I'm going to start with our feet hip-width distance. Take a big step back with your right foot. Your right toes will point out at about a 45-degree angle, and that's what we want. Tone your legs strong, squeeze your inner thighs towards each other, and bend your left knee. Look down at your left knee and make sure it's over your left ankle. If you look down and your left knee is way out in front of your left ankle, just shift your weight back. Then squeeze your legs strong, squeeze them in towards each other, towards the midline of your pose. Lift your chest, roll your shoulders back. Take your arms out to the sides, roll your arms open, and reach your arms up. Tone your belly back, lift your chest, stretch up to the sky. Then release your arms down and step forward. Let's do the second side. Take a step back with your left foot. Again, you can let your left toes turn out at about 45-degree angle. Then bend your right knee. Take the time to glance down and make sure your right knee is over your right ankle. Then take your arms out to the sides, roll them open, and reach them up. Recommit to strong legs. Lift your kneecaps, engage your thighs. Squeeze your inner thighs towards each other. Pull your belly back, lift your chest, reach up. Then release your arms down and step your feet forward. We're going to put that warrior one together with our clasp. So if you like to use your strap for that clasp, just set it over your shoulder until you get into the pose. If you don't want to use a strap, you don't have to, it's optional. Okay, so standing in a hip-width distance Tadasana at the front of your mat. Bring your hands to your waist. Take a step back with your right foot. Lift your kneecaps, tone your thighs. Squeeze your inner thighs towards each other, bend your left knee. Make sure your left knee is over your left ankle and not in front of it. Keep your legs strong. Then you can grab your strap if you're using it, and then either clasp your hands behind your back or use the strap to clasp behind your back. Roll your shoulders back, just like we did standing. Lift your arms up away from your hips so they're at a diagonal. Tone your belly, roll your shoulders back, lift your heart up. Great, release your clasp. You can set the strap over your shoulders so it's out of the way as we switch sides. Step your right foot forward, step your left foot back. I'll do it without the strap this time so you can see what that looks like. Tone your legs strong, squeeze your inner thighs towards each other, bend your right knee. Then, with or without the strap, clasp your hands behind you. Lift your chest, roll your shoulders back, and straighten your arms. And again, remember, we're not going straight down to the ground with our hands, but we're lifting our hands up away from our hips so that our hands are reaching more towards our back left heel. Then tone your belly, lift your chest, curl it towards the sky. Great. Release, step forward, and if you don't have your strap, now's the time to grab your strap. Okay, so I'll go slow. Hopefully this won't be too confusing. Hold the strap in the middle of the strap. Then take the middle of the strap right to the bottom tips of your shoulder blades, kind of your mid to upper back. Then throw the straps over each shoulder. Like that. Okay. Then in the back, now cross the straps behind you. and hold on to the tail of the strap. Okay. Press your feet firmly into the mat, stand up tall, let the strap be loose to start. Find that strong, stable foundation in your legs, then tone your belly and press down or pull down and away from your body with the strap, and notice what happens to your chest. You'll likely feel the strap along your back, pull your chest forward and lift it up. I'll show you from the side. Hair stuck in the strap. Okay, again, you can do this a couple times so you feel the difference between the strap being loose and then the strap pulling down and out to lift your heart up. And again, some things to notice is the bottom tips of your shoulder blades roll forward, your chest lifts up, and your shoulders roll back and away from your ears. Good. This is the position that we want in our chest in our Cobra pose, our Bhujangasana. So we're now going to lie down on our belly and start to work Cobra pose and then into upward facing dog. All right, so lie down onto your stomach. And let's first do a hovering hands Cobra pose. So place your hands alongside your chest as if you're setting up for Cobra pose. Then press your pelvis into the mat. Press the tops of your feet into the mat until your legs are strong. Anchor your pelvis again, and then inhale, roll your shoulders up away from the ground, and then pull them away from your ears as you hover your hands. Feel that same action of your chest moving forward, your shoulders rolling back and down that you had with the strap. And then exhale to release. Right. So you can stay on your belly. I'm just going to sit up for a moment. The difference, well, one of the features, I should say, of Cobra pose is that your pelvis and your legs stay on the mat as best as possible. So we're going to do it again, and this time I'm going to ask you to bring some weight into your hands so that you can lift your chest even higher. So some things to watch out for is as we begin to put weight into our hands, sometimes our shoulders will pitch forward. But if you remember when we use the strap, we want our shoulders to roll back and away from our ears. Yeah, back and away from our ears to let our chest lift up. The other thing that can happen is as we begin to straighten our arms, our pelvis will start to come up away from the ground. So I want you to work, and I'll remind you to roll your shoulders back, let your shoulders relax away from your ears, but keep your pelvis anchored down onto the mat. And that might mean that you can't lift your chest very high. It also might mean that your arms will not straighten all the way. If you feel any pain in your low back, tone your belly more. If that doesn't help, lower down a little bit the height of your chest. Okay, let's do it again. Place your hands flat on the mat alongside your chest. Spread your fingers, grip the ground with your finger pads. Press the tops of your feet firmly into the mat. Anchor your pelvis, your pubic bone firmly down into the mat. Remember, that's not going to lift up. Keeping all that strong, inhale. Lift your shoulders up away from the ground and pull them away from your ears. As your heart, your chest pulls forward. So shoulders back, let them roll away or soften away from your ears and pull your heart forward. But exhale, lower down. Let's do that one more time. Plant your hands firmly into the mat. Press the tops of your feet firmly into the mat. Press your pelvis down. Then inhale, lift up, roll your shoulders back, let them soften away from your ears. Pull your heart forward. Press your pelvis down, lift your chest up. Good, exhale, release, down and rest. All right, you can continue to rest on your belly. Now, the difference between Cobra pose and upward facing dog is really the position of our lower body. So in Cobra pose, I said that the pelvis and the legs remain on the ground. So the difference, upward facing dog, is that the only thing that's on the ground is our hands and the tops of our feet. So that means that our pelvis, Our thighs, our knees, and our lower legs are off the ground. So let's do this. Come up to your hands and knees. Feel free to watch first if you'd rather see it first. We'll do it a couple times. Then take your feet back behind you. You're in a high plank pose. Okay? Then here, press the ground away from you. Lower your hips down towards the mat. Then turn your toes so that the tops of your feet are on the mat. And then squeeze your legs strong. Press your hands into the mat. Press the tops of your feet into the mat so that your legs stay off the ground. Roll your shoulders back and pull your chest forward. Great. You can sit back and rest if you were doing that with me. If you were just watching, don't worry, we're going to do it again. So, as in Cobra pose, one of the things that can happen, particularly because in this pose your arms are straight, is that the shoulders will tend to creep up towards the ears, and you may even feel that as a collapse in your chest and your shoulders. So, I'm going to remind you to press into your hands so you can lift your chest and roll your shoulders back. Okay? Let's do that again. From a plank pose, first, in even here, press your hands into the mat so that your chest lifts up towards the sky, your upper back even domes a little bit. Then lower your hips down towards the mat without allowing your shoulders to come towards your ears. Flip your feet to the tops of your feet. Make your legs strong. Don't allow, see if you can keep your legs from lowering down to the mat. So thighs and knees off the mat. Press into your hands, roll your shoulders back, pull your chest forward. Good. Sit back and rest. All right, let's do one more variation. Moving into upward facing dog from Cobra pose. And this is a challenging transition because you have to lift up and shift forward a little bit. So you can do this with me now that you know what upward facing dog feels like. So lie down onto your stomach. We're going to first move into Cobra pose, just like we've been doing. Plant your hands alongside your chest. Bring some space between your fingers. Make your legs very strong. Press the tops of your feet down to firm your legs. Inhale, lift your head and chest up. Roll your shoulders back. Then, curl your toes under. Lift your legs up away from the mat. Shift forward to the tops of your feet. Straighten your arms. Press down. Pull your heart forward. Don't allow your shoulders to creep up toward your ears. One more breath. Good. Lower your knees. Press your hips back to your heels. Child's pose. And come up to seated. Shift your hips to one side and swing your legs around. I find it really helpful to do forward folds sitting up onto a blanket to give my hips some height. So, I'll show you what that looks like with my blanket folded. I sit right on the edge of the blanket with my legs out in front of the blanket. Okay, then fold your left leg in and straighten your right leg out in front of you. Flex your right ankle so your toes point to the sky. Reach up, stretch taller, pull your belly back, hinge forward, and fold. Your hands can rest wherever they land, on your shin, on your foot, or on the mat. Release your head and neck down. Come back up to seated and switch sides. Straighten your left leg, fold your right leg in. Flex your left ankle, point your toes to the sky. Reach up, pull your belly back, hinge at your hips, and fold. Good, come up to seated. Straighten both legs out in front of you. Flex both ankles, point your toes to the sky. Reach up to get length through your spine. Lift up, reach forward, fold. Good, come all the way back up to seated. Shift forward so that you can lie all the way down onto your back. Pull your knees into your chest. And just take a moment. If you'd like to add some movement here, you can rock side to side, front to back, or swing your knees in circles. Then spread your arms wide like a T and lower both knees to the right side, twist. Bring your knees to center and lower them to the left side. Bring your knees back to center. Keep them bent, your knees bent, and lower your feet flat to the mat. Cross your right ankle over your left knee. Flex your right ankle and spread your toes. You can stay right here or hug your legs in closer and clasp your hands behind your left thigh or your left shin. Release and switch sides. Cross your left ankle over your right knee. Flex your left ankle, spread your toes. You can stay here or hug your legs in closer. And release your legs and uncross them. Once more, hug your knees into your chest. You can add movement here. If happy baby would feel even better, you can do that instead, either with stillness or movement. Even feel free to straighten one or both legs. And of course, if there's a different stretch or pose or movement that your body needs before you rest, please take the time to do that now. Take as much time as you need to, finishing up the movement and stretching, but when you are ready to rest, you can go ahead and find a resting position. And that can be flat on your back with your arms and legs extended. But if this isn't going to feel comfortable, please choose a different position. You could slide your blanket under your knees or your hips or your shoulders or your head. You could bend your knees and bring your feet flat to the mat and roll onto your side, or feel free to take any other position that feels comfortable for your body. And then once you're settled, let your breath begin to soften. It can flow gently in and out of your nose or your mouth. Consciously release any lingering effort or tension in your body. And for the next few moments, just rest. Slowly begin to deepen your breath. You can bring small movements back to your body. You can wiggle your fingers and toes. You can roll your wrists and ankles. Feel free to reach your arms alongside your ears for a full body stretch. Bend your knees. And roll over onto your side. Press yourself up to seated. Sit up tall and bring your palms together in front of your heart in Anjali Mudra. We'll end with an invocation of peace. The Sanskrit word for peace is Shanti. When we say Om Shanti, 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 we're asking for peace for ourselves, for our mind, our body, our spirit. We're also asking for peace for our family and our community, and for the world as a whole. So settle the weight of your pelvis down into the support of the ground underneath you. And then from that base of support, lift your heart up towards your thumbs. Then take a big, full, deep breath in with me. And together we say Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Begin to rub your palms together, generating some heat between them. Gently cup your palms over your eyes. Blink your eyes open and release your hands. Thank you so much for sharing your practice with me.